Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to use some of the last of our bargain bead box beads from September to make a necklace. So I'm going to turn down and I'm going to show you what I'm going to plan on doing. Okay, I've gotten the pieces I need as well as some pink tourmaline SoftFlex medium beading wire, a couple of ball head pins, some small oval jump rings, and some crimp beads. Tubes, I should say. They're 2x2 tubes. And we're also going to need a teeny bit of wire and a bail, but we'll get those out in just a minute. First, I'm going to get these parts and pieces out. This is going to be, of course, our back piece. We're going to make some little flowers. And we're going to connect those flowers to one of these rings with a couple of our jump rings. So let's get those made, shall we? So we're going to make them like this with our tiny red one at the bottom, rondelle, the flower bead cap, and this little crystal. Oops, I forgot one piece. Very important, this little bead cap. There we go, much better. So we're going to make 2 of those. There we go. These are for up higher in the necklace. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to make a regular loop, and then we'll jump ring these onto our loop here. So let's get our loop made by just making a 90-degree angle turn. Get our step bell making pliers, which I like to use because they make a nice consistent loop. Loop this around. There we go, just like so. We're going to take our pliers and hold, and you can either do this by hand or you can use another pair of pliers. I generally use another pair of pliers because I think I can get it much tighter and neater when I do that. But let's cut the excess off. And tuck that baby in, being careful with your crystal. Make sure everything looks straight. And there she is. Do the same with the other. Oop, we're trying to wrap on each other. We don't want to do that. And this wraps down a little low, so that's one of the reasons I usually use the pliers to do these. And if you get them low, you can pull them up just like I'm doing here by putting your plier into the loop, the point into the loop and the other point below, and just pushing it up just like I did. And we'll finish wrapping this with the plier. and then tuck it in. Okay, so now I have two little flower pieces here. So what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to hook them right onto our little go-go donut here with these little jump rings. And then we'll put the other one on just right beside it. Okay. So then those are going to hang down like that. Isn't that cute? Now the next step is we've got to get some wire, and then we're going to put this up here with a couple of the little copper balls on either side, and then it's going to go onto a bell, and this is going to be our pendant piece. Okay, so I've got a piece of copper wire, and we're just going to bend this over, and then I'm going to take my bell making plier, and we are going to make a bigger loop on this one, around and about, and coming over. Now before I wind this, I am going to put our little piece right onto it. So snap that in place. Now we're going to hold this here and wrap it a couple of times around this base here. Trim off the extra. And tuck it in. Now, when you check this, just make sure you've got it nice the way you want it. You'll see this one is crooked. We want to straighten that up. And if you need to tighten these little lower wires out, you can do that now as well. Now that's feeling a little sharp still, so we need it tucked a bit more. Okay. Now it looks like so. Now we'll get our little copper pieces out. This piece and this piece again. Now I was just going to put this on a bell, but I think we'll just make it into a bell by okay, we're going to use the large one again, and then we're going to wrap it a couple of times around. Bring it down here to the bottom, and then we're going to wrap it like we would a normal loop. So hold it and wrap it. Just like so. the excess off. And tuck it in. There's our pendant all ready to be put onto the wire along with its beads. As soon as we get the beaded part put together. So how we're going to do that is we're going to take, and I'm going to do one side first and then the other. And what we're going to do is get some wire. I'm using SoftFlex Pink Tourmaline. We're just going to pull it off the spool, so much off. Then I'm going to put a bead stopper on this end so it doesn't sink into the groove of the spool, so I can see what I'm doing better here. We'll put our little piece up here better. And what we want to do is we're going to take these little beads and we're just going to make a pattern with these. Let's go off here with the little one of these. Come here, you go on there. This is going to be a pretty delicate little necklace because all we're going to do is go back and forth between these little guys here. Go here. Come on, you go on. Back to this one. These little ones can be sometimes challenging to work with. Down you go. One of the coppers. Then one of these rose quartz, 6mm rose quartz. Copper. And then these again. And we're just going to keep going back and forth like that in that pattern until we decide we've got enough on. My initial thinking is I put them out this way was 4 on either side of the pendant. It's going to be just a simple, delicate little pattern, just like so. on you. Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay, we've got the 4 on now, but now we're gonna do this pattern again, but because this is where the pendant is going to go, we're going to change this up just a teeny touch. I'm going to do the regular pattern, but then we're going to put a couple more of these little guys in. Because our pendant is now going to go on here. And it's going to sit right here. Oops, I guess I should have checked this a little better. I got that a little smaller than I thought, so this is not going to slide back and forth. I thought it probably would, but it looks like no, so that's good. I'm just going to go on like so. Now we will start our crystal and red bead pattern again. It's going to go up just like the other side did. So I need some more of the little red beads out. So there's how that's going to sit there. Now we're going to go right back up into this pattern again. Okay, now we'll put a bead stopper on this other side here. We can put it way up here because we don't need this much wire. This is the end. Now we'll compare our two sides, make sure we're evened up. Looks good. Bring this back down here and cut our wire. We can put the rest of these beads away. We're not going to be using them anymore, and we definitely don't want them to be rolling all over, getting lost. So now our next phase is we're going to take these last two little donut rings, and we're going to hook this onto these. And then we're going to hook some chain to go around the rest of it. Now I've got one of these clasps that was provided out, so I'll probably use that. Though I was debating because I would like to make it adjustable, but we'll see. So anyway, next step, hook these together. So all we want to do is take our little guys here, put on one of our crimp tubes over the top of one of these guys. And we'll crimp this baby in place. Now we want to leave a relatively good sized loop because we want it to sort of drop down to this side. So we don't want it too tight. On the other hand, we don't want a giant loop either. So I think about like that should be good. Can see how well you can see that loop that I've got there, but so we're going to crimp that on now. Just put the tube right in the middle of the divot here and squish, and then turn and squish. Keep doing so till it doesn't squish anymore, and then do a tug test. Now, because these beads are small, I doubt very strongly if they're going to go through here twice, so we're probably going to have to cut the thread off, the string off right at the crimp tube. So make sure you got the right one that you're cutting, and then just slide her up there and cut her off. And we'll slide everything over to the other side, and we'll do the same over here. In our crimp tube, put in our little donut charm. I guess it's called a go-go charm. Then back through, and since we already know it won't go through the bead, we can just pull her down to where we want her to be. So in order to tell where you want it to be, compare it to your other side. See, we've got it still a teeny touch big here, but not real big. So I think that looks good. So we will check to make sure our beads are falling the way there should be, and then we'll crimp this baby. Get the crimp in the middle of the divot, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish. Tug test, and cut off that extra bit of wire. Okay, so now we have our necklace onto its little go-go charms, like so. Isn't that cute? So now we got to decide how long we want to make it, and then cut the chain to that length and just hook it to both sides. So as it sits right now, it is about 9 inches. So if we want 8 inches, we need another 9 inches of chain. If we want 18, I should say. And because it is pretty delicate, I'm thinking 18 is probably a relatively good length for it. So let's get I said, this is 9, right? Yep. So we want about 4.5 inches. So here. Now what I do here at this stage is I take my, well, if I can find it, my beading awl. I don't see it, so we'll use my reamer. Grab hold of both chain ends. Slide my fingers down so I get them in about the right place. And then we're going to cut. We'll re-verify that I didn't cut one a little longer than the other one. Nope, they're good. and we can put this chain away. And so we have our two pieces here. And now we're just going to take some of these jump rings and hook the two pieces of chain on either side of our little go-go rings. And then we'll hook the ends with our pendant, our clasp. So just need to get our jump rings open. And if you want, you can do this one or two ways. Put the chain on one side and then put the clasp on, which is what I'm going to do on that same side, and then switch sides. Or you can just put both chains on and then put the clasp pieces on. It's entirely up to you. I do it both ways depending on my mood at the time. There we go. And there we go. She's all done. A tiny little, delicate little necklace. Get her rings slipped around properly. And that's what she looks like. Isn't that cute? Okie dokie, there is our cute little, delicate little necklace using our September Bargain Bead Box, Misty Rose. Now this may be the last thing I made with this. I only have a few beads left. I have some chain, I have another closure, I have some of the all of the tiny beads left, as well as some of the rose quartz, but only two more of the little little metal balls. No more of the flower pieces, no more of these. So, you know, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of anything, so they'll probably just hit my stash because I don't really think there's enough to make anything more with them. Either that or the rose quartz will go in with my new SoftFlex kit, Pink Warrior. So there's our necklace. Isn't that pretty? So cute, so delicate, so pretty. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.